Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today as always. Today's topic is going to be femininity, masculinity. Well, that's actually two topics, isn't it? I really want to focus on the feminine, but then again, I can't really talk about the feminine without talking about the masculine. And I'm basically talking about how those two aspects of individuals are playing out here in the U.S. Because we have young women here being raised to be more masculine than feminine. They're being taught to go out and have a career, to be like men, to have businesses of their own, to go out there and be assertive and aggressive like men. Now, there's nothing wrong with women having businesses of their own. I have nothing against that. They make some very good businesses. What I am talking about, but I'm not against this either, I'm just bringing this up for discussion and giving you my point of view on it. What I am talking about is women getting more into their masculine. And some of these women, I think they're called feminists, some of them, are very aggressive and assertive and really bad-mouth men and talk about masculinity as being toxic. But what I find strange is these very same women cut their hair short, they dress like men, some of them wear suits, and they have the assertive and even aggressiveness of what they sometimes term toxic masculinity. Now, I'm sure not all feminists are like that. I don't know any feminists personally. So really, I'm just going by what I've read about and what I've seen on the internet. So I could be completely wrong about this, but I suppose I'm addressing to you people who have spoken about this topic in regards to what you know about feminists and their agenda. Because as I said, where I live, I really don't know. I see women that may appear to be feminists, but that doesn't mean that they are. So, but I have met women that shake my hands like men and they talk to me like a man. I am not attracted to that in the least. I'm more in my masculine. I realize that men and women both have masculine and feminine traits, but I also realize and believe that you need to have polarity to have attraction and, cohesion between two people, a man and a woman. I think if we get out of balance, everything works naturally. I mean, the wind blows, we don't have to make the wind blow. Gravity holds us on the earth. The sun comes up in the east and sets in the west. We have night and day. We have all these things. The water runs down to the oceans and then it's evaporated back up and it rains and waters the lands. I worked for a guy when I was 16 years old. I quit school when I was 15. I went to work. We were driving home one day, and it was in March. And he said, look, he said, you see how the wind blows and it knocks all the tree limbs off, the dead limbs off, so the new ones can grow out. He said, everything is made to work. It has a natural order, and it does. And the natural order of men and women is for men to be masculine, leaders, dominant, not domineering, but the creators, the inventors, the explorers, the risk takers in general. Now, I'm not saying there aren't women that are like that, but of course there are. We had Amelia Earhart. She was. Joan of Arc was a conqueror. We see what happened to her. That's kind of a joke. But a lot of the great men, the great conquerors, ended the same way as Joan of Arc. They may not have been burned, but I'm sure there was some of them that were. So the point I'm making here is if we get out of what we are naturally or inherently, now that's not to say some men are born with maybe a feminine or a woman's personality. I believe that exists. And there are women that are born with a masculine personality. Did I say that right? Each way. Okay. Some men are born with a feminine personality. Some men are born with a woman, some men are born with a woman's personality and some women are born with a man's personality. So I know that exists, but in general, in the majority, if a man is born with a penis, he's masculine. If a a woman is born with a vagina, she's feminine. That's kind of how it is, okay? In general, I think there are many people, and I know kids because I have kids in school. There are kids in school at ages of 10 or 11 that are already deciding that, well, I'm bisexual or I'm transsexual or I'm this sexual. I think there's like, what, 62 genders now? I'm not quite sure how all that works. I'm not speaking out against that. I'm just saying I don't understand that. And I really don't believe a child at the age of 10 years old or 7 or 8 or 14 or even up to 15 and 16 can decide what they are, because children have mixed emotions and attractions to various things, to the different sexes. Some males are attracted to other males in a sexual way, and some females are attracted to females in a sexual way. We're very curious when we're growing up, and we're very mixed up when we go through adolescence, through puberty, and through that stage of our life. But when we have the children looking at these great men and women in sports, in the movie industry, and they're coming out of the closet, so to speak, or are professing or proclaiming the greatness of whatever their sexuality is, then these kids look at that and they think, oh, well, I want to be like that. I must be this. Or that's the way I see it. Now, I don't understand. I mean, I'm not out there telling you how great it is that I'm a heterosexual. That's what I am. I'm a straight man, super straight, whatever they call it. If you're gay, that's fine. I have no problem with that. And I don't need you to be proclaiming that out or I mean, they have Gay Pride Day. Could I have a heterosexual Pride Day? Would that be okay, or would people get angry about that? I'm not sure. I don't believe people should be put down or discriminated against for whatever they decide to do in the bedroom or whatever way they decide to lean sexually. It's really none of my business. But on the other hand, I don't understand why, as a heterosexual man, it seems to be pushed down like I have to accept. It's not that I don't accept you. So I don't really understand how all that works. Maybe someone could enlighten me on that. I have gay friends. I respect them. I think a lot of them. That's their choice. It's not me. I'm not living their life. I say live and let live. But back to the femininity and the masculinity. If we get a country here that's depolarized, or we have too many masculine women, and that's what I see, and I don't blame that on the women. I have nothing against feminists. I believe if men were being men and leading as we're supposed to do, as we have done for centuries, not being a jerk, not being a dominating a-hole, but leading, we wouldn't have women trying to run things and do things that men are inherently more physically stronger and emotionally stronger to do. But men are becoming weak, and thus women have to take over because the men are not doing their job. They're not leading, they're not stepping out, they're not taking the risks they used to take. Very few are. And for you guys out there that think you can't find a woman and you can't get yourself up in the top 20% or whatever it is, they say 20% of the men get 80% of the women. There's not much competition out there. You really just need to do a few things to make yourself a man. One thing is get up off your butt, get out from behind that computer, and make something of yourself. Do something. Go out and take some risks. I say this, and it may sound silly. Climb a tree, ride a dang bicycle, pop a wheelie. Do something that you might get hurt doing. Don't wear head guard. Don't wear skin knee pads and all that crap. Just go out there and do it. Just free, like that. Simple. Take a chance. Climb way high up in a tree on some small limbs. I mean, these may sound like silly, stupid things to you, but these are risks that we take as we grow up as children. And if you've never taken those, go walk out in the woods. Take a path that you don't know where it goes. Maybe you'll even get lost. I mean, don't go out in a national forest and do it, but I got lost when I was 13 years old in the state park. I had to walk 13 miles. I finally found my way out, okay? I went the other path. I took the road less traveled, so to speak. I was with 6 or 7 people and they wanted to go left. No, I'm gonna go right, and I did. I got lost. Hey, guess what? I survived. I ended up walking out to a highway, found a store and called. They were out looking for me. They couldn't find me. People were wondering where I was. I was gone about, I don't know, 10, 12 hours. Whatever. In the very same park, I went with some older boys when I was 13. 8 or 10 of us on bicycles. We went down this hill. It was like extremely steep. And I had a high-speed wobble. I ended up in the hospital with a concussion. I woke up the next day, wondered what happened to me. I survived that too. I could go on and on about the risks I've taken in my life, but these things are what develops masculinity. And these things are what men do. They take risks. We would not be here in this country today were we not taking these risks. But we've become so safe and comfortable, we're suffocating. And the women are having to take control because the men aren't doing it. How many times in the grocery stores or the shopping malls you see the woman leading the man around and he's taking care of the kids? She's not happy. She doesn't want to lead. These women are leading because the men are not leading. So quit blaming the women. It's not men against women or women against men. These women are having to fend for themselves because they don't feel safe in the society where men are not being men, where men are afraid, where men are tentative, where men are backing off, where they're not standing up for their woman. A woman wants to know when she goes out in public with her man that if anything happens, he's going to stand between her and the problem, her and the assaulter, her and the robber, her and the killer, whatever it happens to be. The police are not always going to be there. You can't just snap your finger and magically draw up a policeman to protect you. So who's going to protect you? And if she wants to have kids with you, who's going to protect the children? You can't have a policeman in your house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if you did, the criminal may sneak in the back window while the policeman's at the front door. And he can't be up there. So whose job is it to protect and provide? It's the man's. And also we live in a society where men have set up systems where women don't need a man as they used to. They're still relying on a man. We'll say they're relying on the man, the government. And this government, this system was set up by men, but it gives them the feeling that men are unnecessary. But men are as necessary to women as women are necessary to men. Men will say, I don't need women. Really? Guess where you'd be if it wasn't for women? You wouldn't be here. And regardless of how terrible your mother was, she didn't abort you. She loved you enough to bring you into this world. I think what they say, my son looked up yesterday, 700, 600,000 abortions in the U.S. alone last year. That's incredible. So there's 600,000 or 700,000 children. I could be wrong on the numbers, okay? Let's say 400 to 700,000. It's a lot anyway. I could be wrong on the numbers, as I said. But the point I'm making is this. Those mothers, for whatever reason, didn't love, and I may get some flack for this. I'm not sure if I should even go there. Let's say it this way. Those people that aborted those children found something more valuable or more important to them than allowing this child to be born and live. And that's their choice. I'm not saying they're right or wrong. Whether I agree with it or not does not matter. The point I'm making is that if you're here, someone believed you were valuable enough to give up or risk or to tolerate or to bring you into this world. You were worth that to them. So that's the value you have as a man. If you're a man listening to this, most of my audience is men. But I want to tell you, it's not men against women. Many of you men are against women. No, we need women as much as they need us. We each need to know our place. A woman has her place, and a man has his place. Now, as I always say, and I've said this before in this video, that doesn't mean there are women that are a little different or hybrids. Stronger than men, smarter than men, more intelligent, more logical than some men. I see many men in their feminine thinking they have to be vulnerable, express themselves to their woman. I think being vulnerable and expressing yourselves and feeling your emotions is very important. But there's a time and a place for everything. And the time for you to cry and express your emotions and feel like a little wimp is not in front of your woman or in front of your kids. They look to you for strength and guidance. And they're not going to follow someone who cries or whines or pisses and moans about every problem he has in life. Because guess what? Life is a series of problems. You need to live in the solutions. We all need to live in the solutions. Stay in the problem long enough to recognize what the problem is. Because unless you know the problem, you can't know the solution. But as soon as you recognize the problem, come up with a solution, even a piss poor one is better than none, and head in the direction of the solution. Because whatever you focus on grows in your life. So what is the solution to this masculinity and femininity problem? If you believe that men are the leaders, and everybody I listen to, most people I listen to, and if you look to the last for eons, thousands of years, men have been the leaders. Women follow the men. As I said, there are exceptions, but in general. So if the women are starting to lead, it's probably because they don't find anyone that they want to follow. Because men are not being masculine men anymore. Most of them, at least here in the U.S. Women will not follow a weak man. And why should they? Why should they follow a weak man? Women are attracted to inner strength. Every woman wants to know she can depend on her man. She can also depend on him that if she would happen to pass on, God forbid, that he could move on and take care of the kids. Wouldn't you want to know that your woman, if you passed on, that she could take care of the kids? That she could go and find another man like you that would help her to survive along with your progeny. So that's something to think about. So if you're bitching about women and you're bitching about feminists, think about what you have contributed to it, what I have contributed to it. When have I been passive? When have I not been the leader I needed to be? When have I not stood up when I was supposed to stand up? For myself, in relationships, intimate relationships with women, and also in business relationships. Have I bowed down because of my fear or my desire to get the person's approval? Acceptance? No, that is not a manly trait. You don't need anyone's acceptance but yourself. And invariably, when you accept yourself, guess what? Other people accept you. But it doesn't matter whether they do or not, because it's none of my business what you think about me. It is my business what I think about me and what I think about you. That's all that matters. What you think about me matters very little. So as a man, you want to lead, you want to be dominant, you want to be strong. Inner strength for a man is greater than outer strength. Women are attracted to inner strength. Aren't you as a man attracted to a woman who has a certain inner strength and independence? Although we are all interdependent, we're all dependent on each other. We all need each other. But a woman who doesn't need you, she wants to be with you because she loves you, because she admires you. She sees something in you that she maybe wants to emulate, or at least she wants to be part of. And that's the kind of man you need to be. You need to be the kind of man that a woman wants to be part of. She wants you to give her children. She wants to have your children because she admires you. She sees something in you that she desires to create within her. Because when you have a child with a woman, you are creating together. You are creating a life. And she certainly doesn't want to have a child by a man who is weak and create another weak being. Someone that she's got to baby and pamper and mother the rest of his life, or her life if it happens to be a girl. Men, don't go out looking for your mommy in a girlfriend. She's not your mother. The only person, as I said, that's going to love you as much as your mother is your mother. No woman, no other woman is ever going to love you as your mother did, because you came from your mother. You are part of your mother. And as I said before too, your mother loved you enough to have you and to bring you into this world. She could have aborted you. She didn't do that. So regardless of what you think about her, or how piss poor you think she raised you, if that's the way you look at it, she loved you enough to bring you into this world, to feed you, and to give you life. So remember that. We need women. Women are important. Women need men. There's no us against them. We are working together to perpetuate humanity. And we need to be more cooperative and also more accepting of people. But remember, you have to accept yourself before others will accept you. If I'm out here trying to get you to accept me and my lifestyle, and pushing you to accept it, and wanting to make you accept it, and being angry because you're offending me because you don't like the way I live, that's my problem, not yours. I live a life for myself. But then again, I live a life for others. I take care of myself first, just as you must. And when you do, that is what is best for others. How many people do you know that feel great, that are happy, that go out there and hurt people, that steal from people? They don't do it. So the better you feel about yourself, the more confident you feel about yourself, the more clean you are on the inside, the more that garbage, I try to keep it GP, or rated PG-13 here, the more that garbage you get out of yourself and clean out the inside to allow that power that we all have within us to flow through us and emanate out from us, it touches other people. And other people are attracted to you. Other people will accept you because you're accepting yourself. Because guess what? When you look in the mirror, you don't see all that garbage inside of you. If you look in the mirror and you hate what you see, you're not seeing the reflection. You're seeing the reflection of something inside of you. It's something deeper, something more profound than that reflection in the mirror. You'll never like that reflection in the mirror until you like what's on the inside. Everything is an inside job. What you want in life is an inside job. You draw to yourself what you are. If you're full of hate, anger, resentment, guilt, and shame, guess what kind of people you're going to draw into your life? People with the same attitudes and attributes that you have. If you don't want to draw that into your life, you got to clean house. This is your house. Take care of it. Just as you are careful about the type of food you put in your mouth, into your body, if you are, and you should be, especially during this time of health crisis. Be careful about what you let into your ears, what you let into your mind, into your kingdom. Because in here, you have complete control. You have complete control. Excuse me. It's up to you. Junk in, junk out. Great stuff in, great stuff out. So think about that. That's all I got time for today. I hope this has been of value to you. If it has, share with a friend. Smash that like button and subscribe now. Just pump that like button. It's really simple. I'm going to go. Thanks for joining me again. Have a great day.